Alright, so we're playing into Oldham here, so we're going to be playing for Fatigue game plan, right, where our opponent's probably going to try to block us out a bunch, so we're going to run our Overload script. We may consider running our Big Berthas and our Gas Ups. These just give us more ways to boost without needing to actually burn cards from deck, or at least, like, sorry, to present damage without needing to burn cards from deck, right? So instead of boosting, we can play, you know, like Gas Up and attack instead. We do actually have to boost on turn 1. Sounds a little counterintuitive, but we do need to get our hyperdrivers going. My opponent already has a sync or a fate, so we're off to a good start. That's crazy that Civic Steps is legal. So we'll go ahead, we'll make our hyperdriver. I'm trying to think if we want to keep a gas up or if we want to keep a throttle. I think we're fine pitching the throttle for later. No need to crank it, and we're just going to pass our turn here. So like here we can pitch this and boost a good chunk of our hand without needing to really tangle, and tangle's pretty bad, but we can just send the 0 to 60, and that's probably okay. That's kind of tough. I mean, this is pretty bad, right? And we do need to be careful because, like, if we do take too much damage, the Oldham can just, like, kill you. So, like, we could block with 2 cards here and just send 0 to 60 into die-through data, and that's not actually terrible. And maybe that's actually fine. So I guess we could just block for 7. I have a bit of a smaller hand here. Just hope they don't have like pummel or something, but if they don't, I think we're okay. Although this is pretty bad though, right? Not exactly what you want to see. I mean, to be fair, I think Oldham and Bravo are probably like the worst matchup for like all of these decks. Like maybe Teklevossen is okay. Oh, that's crazy. That's crazy. Okay, so our opponent is just, you know, tried to like not let us play a game of flesh and blood. I got it. Doesn't ice react, so that's obviously good for us, right? No need to boost here. We are unfortunately down 2 cards in deck, so that's not great. But we'll see. We'll see if they let the hit through. I mean, it's like kind of good for us, right? Because then we're able to opt. I mean, that's not super helpful, right? But I guess we could just leave it on top, just in case we don't have a blue next turn. Okay, good thing we did decide to do that. Titan's Fist is good here. Let me think about this hand. So we have the rev up, so we're able to go recharge rev up, and then we could end with overload scripts. Although, I mean, we could do this and actually just be able to just send the rev up for 10. This would be 10 with 10 with overpower. Like 10 with overpower seems pretty good. So the question is, do we want 10 with overpower, or do we want to go 10 and then hope that next turn we can present more damage with overpower? I think we're fine going with the line where we end our turn with overload script. It's a tough call for sure. And also we're losing our hyperdriver, which is also just like, that is also a problem, unfortunately. Let me think about if we have any other lines here. I mean, like, I just don't think we break the cross trap, unfortunately. Oh, I forgot that we had a recharge. I forgot that it was different. So the recharge puts the counter back on the hyperdriver. So we're actually fine here. Unfortunately, we're gonna burn a resource, but that's fine. Oh, sick, and it's actually a crankshaft. So we're really in business. We're keeping this for a while. I mean, 10 go again's great. It probably means that the Oldham can't keep enough cards to have like a good pivot into our overload script turn. So pretty good for us. Although, I mean, like I said, we're down cards, right? We're down cards and life, which is equally bad. So we're just going to go ahead. We're going to play our overload script. Very good hand if we're able to keep it. This is super explosive. Really depends on what my opponent does with their 3 cards. They didn't use their arsenal, so I'm not exactly sure what the arsenal card is. Oh, but Macho Grande is fine. We'll eat that all day. That's whatever. So we're going to get to keep our whole hand here. Everything has overload. We know our opponent is not on a D-React and arsenal. Honestly, we probably could be on Goliath Gauntlet. Or we could run Goliath Gauntlet for this matchup. Like, if I was able just to throw Goliath Gauntlet on something, like, it would be so much better, right? I mean, Earth React is kind of whatever. I mean, obviously it gets around it to some degree, but I think we're okay with that. We'll go ahead. We'll send the Bertha. We'll boost. That's another 10 coming in. I don't know if it's exactly enough to really get there, but Quicken Token's pretty good. So I actually think we have a couple options, but I'm kind of tempted to just not use the attack and just bank the Quicken token. Fist for 4 is pretty bad here. Like, next turn, we're going to have to start giving cards if they ever keep anything. So let's think about our turn. So for us. It's a tad bit awkward because we actually do kind of need to boost on our turn. We can give this card though. Although we should probably give the 0 to 60 because the Bertha's a 4 attack, which may be relevant later. So let's go Jumpstart. This is tough, right? Because if the Ice React is here, we kind of need... It's a tough spot. Because if the Ice React is and we don't boost, then we don't get this Crank plus Banksy. But if we do boost here, we're kind of burning the Quicken token. We've already seen 2 ice cards from our opponent, and I don't know how many more ice cards they run in Commoner. I'm going to take a very greedy line where we don't do it, right? This is very greedy. This could get punished super easily, but if they don't ice react, I really think that this is like the best line. Okay, they don't ice react, so we are good. So it means it's super minuscule, but it may matter here that we just don't boost 1 extra card from deck, right? We just save 1 card. Like that may just be relevant. This is crazy. These 0 for 4 answers. 19 cards is not a lot, so I don't exactly know how we're gonna close it out here, I'll be honest. They're probably gonna break the gauntlet so they can send the Entangle for 9. I mean that is quite good. So let's think here. What are we able to do? Not a whole lot, right? I guess the best thing we can do is we could block 9, drop the recharge into Arsenal and pass turn. There's a lot of stuff that can kill us though, like a Macho Grande just kills us unfortunately. So if we block with these 2, like this is our best hand to keep. But we take 4 and we go to 1. Not super ideal, right? Like all these options just seem really bad. Our hand at least presents 9. I mean, it's quite tough to make a call here, right? We've seen 1 Macho Grande, we've seen 2 Macho Grandes actually. So with the second Entangle gone, there actually is a chance that maybe they don't have much they can hit us with next turn. So maybe we can actually just simply block for 9, Arsenal our recharge, and then try to go for like a really big power turn. We'll see if that's feasible. I mean, it's just bad, right? It's just all these options are pretty terrible. Snow Wonder is bad, especially with the actual fuse on it. That's pretty tough for us. We'll just pass turn back here. It's pretty tough. Like, this is such a bad spot to be in. The Overload script was good, but it didn't exactly get what we wanted. Oh, 10 is just so much as well. We'll just block out again. Really just don't have any good answers. Pass back. They're probably gonna have another Glacial. So another Glacial probably does it for us. Our hope here is... Man, these are all just... It's all terrible, right? There's no good answer here, unfortunately. I wish there was. But, I mean, this is your worst matchup by far. Like, they just block everything out. They have, like, basically the same rates as CC, which is, like, honestly wild. Allowing rare equipment as well in Commoner when most heroes have basically nothing, and then Guardian still gets Civic Steps in Buckler is pretty insane, right? So you're just so disadvantaged in, like, every way possible. It is pretty unfortunate. I think if, like, they just didn't have the Entangle on that turn, we may have been in a better spot. We would have got to keep, like, our hand, or we wouldn't have had the decision in whether or not we wanted to block it out or not. But just having good red threads every single turn after blocking out was also pretty punishing. Macho Grande will do it. So that is it for the Maxx game. So pretty tough. This is your worst matchup by a long shot. It's not really close. Like, maybe Goliath Gauntlet could have done a little bit more, but I don't really know exactly how much it would have done for the matchup. So yeah, so that's a Maxx deck. As you can see, the play pattern's a little bit different, right? Your main difference is you're kind of playing more for the pumps. You have some, like, better mid-range hands where you can just keep a blue and a 1 cost. You boost the 1 cost, you float your resource back from Hyperdriver, and then you just Banksy after you use Max's ability, and you just keep that cycle going, so you're able to block 6 and still send your hand, like, with 2 cards. It's pretty good, but obviously, yeah, there's some strategies that beat you pretty well.